Hello. For today's insight, God bless you. I'd like to talk about community for a few minutes. Um, as of this recording, I'm still in the military. I'm in here for several more months, but I've been in a long time and I'm getting close to getting out. And one of the things I love deeply about the military is that we are a community. Um, you could take me and five other soldiers from any nation. I mean, from any like state, we have people in a bunch of different nations, any unit anywhere in the world, and put us in a room together, and we immediately could communicate with each other. We know how to address each other. We know rank. We know the standards that it takes us to be there and to maintain. We know the values that we must carry. We understand the government and our rules. And one things about community is that, so in the Army we have 7 core values, and I think every community has values, and it has its values and sort of its standard for them. So in the Army we have 7 core values, and it makes them mnemonic, which means leadership, LDRSHIP, and so it stands for loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. So those are the values that we live by in the Army, and why we join, and how we kind of hold everything else in place. So within a community, each community has its own culture. So we have our own culture in the military. I mean, we just the way we carry ourselves, talk, and so there can be many cultures that are different in the different communities, but all of them have generally the same, because we have the same values. Well, here's the thing about community. I believe, culture is one of the most important things in a community, but values are what I bring to a community and what you bring to a community. So in the military, people who don't hold to the Army values, the ones that I just mentioned, we actually have a governmental system and rules and standards, and when people violate things that are not in line with the policies, with the values, they're punished. They get punished. There's a system of government to deal with that, and that's what I call imposters. So I think just about every community has imposters, and my definition of an imposter is someone without values for that community. And so what we have is, in the military, we're expected to bring our values to the community, and it manifests within culture, right? So culture, my definition of culture is the invisible heavens. So just as I think the world just doesn't have a better word for what we understand as believers and sons as the heavens that Yahweh cleansed with Jesus's blood, and that we abide with him now in the heavens. Well, I think the world, for lack of a better word, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about culture. They're talking about culture. They're talking about the invisible heavens. So within a community, what the greatest thing that we bring are our values, and it manifests within culture. So I think that's the sort of the pattern of how we're supposed to operate within a community. I think that's where I get to the question: what communities are you a part of? And what are the values within that community? And are they in line with your values? If they're not, probably shouldn't be a part of that community. If what I've found over time is that people with a lack of values, I become at odds with. The military system becomes at odds with them, and I become at odds with them. And you know what? Communities that don't have values, I become at odds with, and so there's a rift. And so I'm not compromising my values that I bring to a community and into the heavens, to the culture. So when I'm within a community that allows the wrong values, its culture is going to be affected in a wrong way. So we have to learn to, I think when we understand this, we can better understand how my approach within a community, and how I affect culture, and how other things are affecting culture or the heavens within a community, and what I can do to be a positive part of community, and then ultimately, how do I deal with the imposters that I encounter in each community? And again, in the military system, we have a judicial system that deals with it. And Jesus had an imposter 1 out of 12, right? He had Judas. How did he deal with him? He rebuked him, but he rebuked all the disciples when they were wrong. He also died for him. I think that's an amazing understanding. In the military, if somebody doesn't have the values, we punish them, and if they don't respond to that, we out-process them and separate them from the military. We have a standard, I think, and so I think somewhere between those two, lines is how we deal with people within our communities. But nonetheless, it's something we should pay attention to and become conscious of and do. So that's all for today. God bless you. Have a good day. Shalom.